Hello, my love, and welcome back to the Luxury of Self-Care podcast, and happy Thursday. I know that I had mentioned in my last episode with Adina Urschau that I am coming back from a dance competition, and I know she was on one as well, and it was so surreal. I have to share being on a plane for the first time. And being on that plane, it was the first time in an entire year that I was forced to be truly unplugged. Like, I didn't even have the option to be plugged back in. I usually fly with Delta, who seems to always give you your internet and Wi-Fi for free. All of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, I can make text messages on the plane. But when I flew with United, you have to buy it. So it's like available to you, which I thought that meant that I get to use it, but it wasn't available to me for free. So I didn't get a chance to connect to the internet. And I thought I had this like crazy aha moment that I had realized, oh wow, I can actually get a lot of stuff done when I'm unplugged. So I wanted to talk today about the importance of planning and why it's so important for us that have our toe dipped in several different ponds, and why it's so important for us who don't have an actual schedule, to go back to what Adina was saying during quarantine, like making your schedule, why that's important, and how we're going to be able to achieve these goals that we're setting for ourselves, or whatever the activity is. For me, for this podcast, obviously I have deadlines because I have episodes that launch on Mondays and Thursdays. I have deadlines because I have to find the talent and record with them and edit their whole episode prior to launching, plus having my other jobs, plus being in charge of this building, plus being a dog mom, plus cleaning and cooking for myself, plus all these other things that like make life, plus teaching my yoga. The list goes on. So we have all these different things that we're trying to compartmentalize, right? So the busier we are, sometimes we need more structure because we're so busy in so many different ways. And if you're someone who's not collecting a check from one specific place at this time, and this is preaching to you, stay tuned, buckle up. I'm going to give you some nice advice that I have learned and I've also gathered over this past year and realized how I can get things done better and in more of a timely manner. I'm going to start off by saying I am always doing a million things at once. You know, when you open up your browser with your internet and you see 12 different tabs open, that's my brain. At all times, I'm making eggs while I'm on while I'm working on a podcast episode, while the sink is running to get hot so I can do the dishes, while I was like halfway finished cleaning something in the bathroom. Is that a form of attention deficit disorder? I don't know. I've never gotten checked out for that, but I think that's just the way my brain works. I'm constantly doing several different things at once. And since I'm not a doctor and I can't speak on behalf of that, I'm just going to go with the fact that I don't focus on one thing at once very well. It's the same reason why I said, even if I had a paycheck making me X amount of dollars and it was like more than I needed, I would still find a way to do other things. And continuing that work of that purpose, vision, and goals that I was chatting about with the past couple of weeks, if you haven't tuned into that, check back on those episodes. It's interesting to just notice that we have all the tools, they're all right here in your house to be successful and to succeed and accomplish your goals. So the biggest thing, let's dive right in. One of my essentials, one of my things that I cannot live without, I am not going to budge on, is 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. I have to have this to function. If I'm doing a crazy weekend like a dance competition where I don't get that luxury, let's call it a luxury, I believe it's a necessity. I come back and make sure I do nothing on Monday to recharge, to refuel, or I will have completely set myself up for failure for the rest of the week. If any of you can agree with that or understand that, if I'm preaching to you, like, yes, I'm going to continue. Meaning that what I do is I end up going to bed earlier, because if I go to bed earlier, I'm able to wake up an hour earlier. Everyone just says, oh, just wake up an hour earlier. If you're someone who's like into your show, or you're up until midnight that night reading your favorite book that you're currently reading, or just shamelessly scrolling through social media, as it happens sometimes, I totally understand that. What is serving you and what is not? Did you already have a beautiful evening and you're done and you don't need to watch that next episode? Did you already look at social media enough today and you can just plug your phone in across the room and go to bed? If you're trying to work on reading more, I totally commend that and do that. Maybe you could start earlier in the evening. So one of the things that sometimes I love recording, most of my guests I record during the day, but for me, I have to record these solo episodes at night because it's the only time that's really quiet in my house. So that's the time that I like to do them, but I need to recognize that I still have to make the time that I can go to bed at 10:30 if I want to wake up at 6 a.m. or if I want to wake up at 6:30 a.m. And I say this too, we think getting up about an hour earlier, I talk about this all the time, is if you need to incorporate that self-care, there's a lot of stuff I work with my coach on that I need 10 minutes in the morning to be able to go through these series of keys, these series of techniques to get myself mentally prepared. I need to charge my battery. We plug our phones in every night to refuel that battery. We need to do it for ourselves. So for me, an essential, non-negotiable is 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. So sometimes that means, as intriguing as that next episode is, or if I haven't had a chance to talk to Douglas at night or whatever it is, I just say, it's 11:30, and if I want to get up, I'm gonna now have to get up at 7:30. Did I plan accordingly? What's my next day? So I'm going to get into that, is planning. One of my biggest things is getting on Google. I'm not joking you. I plan my entire week out on Google Calendar with the alarm set. And that calendar includes not just appointments, not just phone calls, not just my work schedule. It includes when I'm going to talk to Douglas. It includes my self-care. It includes when I'm catching up with a friend. It includes my showers, my workouts. It includes my meditation. The list goes on. I have to put all of those things when I'm taking my, like, the dog walks for the day, so I don't get fully pulled into something and I know that I still need to take care of her unless she's already sitting at the door whining at me. But making sure all those things are in there. And we've talked about this, like, I love my planner. So getting excited on Sunday nights and just looking at my week, taking an hour each Sunday, is one of the things that I started doing once we started opening things up again and I had a planner and I felt like I had things that I needed to put back into this calendar. I just open it up and I add fun little stickers. Like, you can buy all this stuff on Amazon, but I have all these like fun motivational stickers. So I have a visual of all these things that I want to do for my week, and I get a moment to sit down and like plan them and organize them. And then I have Google Calendars, which is something that I can bring with me all the time, all around. And on the Google Calendars, I can just basically use those to actually have the alarms go off so I'm ready and I'm prepared. Because what's frustrating is when you're doing so many different things, and this I was just working on with my coach today, when you're doing so many different things, you get so flustered and you feel like this need to explain if you drop the ball. You're like, this isn't the only thing I'm doing. This is one of 7 things that I'm doing. But when you drop the ball, you feel so guilty about it. Like, God, I can't believe I messed that up. Or the silly, stupid mistakes that could have been avoided. So making sure that I'm prompted on time is something that I'm not the best at. So I set those alarms to make sure that I am the best at those things, right? So I love planning. If things don't go my way, I have to learn how to be the chameleon, and I have to do that often, and I've failed at that as well. But having it preset for yourself is going to be super helpful. I also think in the day, I have to choose a moment where if I'm getting so caught up in something, I have to like completely stop, walk the dog, completely stop, turn on a mindfulness meditation, completely stop, and just stop. you have to realize like, hey, I'm actually not doing anything that completes me. So you need to take those breaks. And then another thing that I've realized with that is one of the biggest things is if I know that I need to film a podcast for the day, or if I know the newsletter is coming out tomorrow, which if you're not on the newsletter, it is super easy to sign up. The link is in my Linktree account on my Instagram. You just click on join my newsletter. If you ever get emails from me, I have a link to it in the bottom to join the newsletter. And if not, just slide into my DMs and say, I want to join the newsletter, and I'll send you the link. But if that's the biggest thing that I have on my task, the biggest task I have for the day, I try to do that first. So that means on a day where I can wake up at 6:30 and I go into the bathroom in the morning and I see the sun rising and I'm like, okay, great. My dog's still asleep. I don't have to walk her yet. I'm going to sneakily come out and make my Nespresso coffee, crawl back into bed with my laptop, and I'm going to work on this before everyone and anything else distracts me. And then it's done, right? That way we've checked that big thing off the list as opposed to procrastinating. Because this is the number one reason why I am the world's worst packer. I'm the best packer, but the world's worst packer, because I have to clean the entire apartment when I do it. I need all the laundry to be done. I need to pick out my outfit. I need to go through the accessories. I need to fill up all my tubes to make sure I have all the things that I need for my face wash, to my hair products, to, I don't know, like teas and my pills, all the different things that I like to, all my nutrients that I like to bring with me, and all my wellness formulas from Modern Nature that I literally can't live without. They're like coffee to me. So being able to do all that takes time. Whereas I wish I was someone that just threw some clothes into a bag and left and was like, oh shoot, I forgot this and I forgot this, I forgot this. But because I planned so many days in advance, I come back home to fresh sheets on my bed. I come back home to a clean apartment. I come back home and don't have so much laundry to do. I come back home to serenity and clean spaces. So that's another thing. Clear off your space. I'll never forget it. I was a kid at my dad's house, and his desk was also our dining table because our place was always being remodeled, and just like we would go, he'd be like, push it. During dinner time, he'd say, okay, kids, like it's time for dinner. And we're like, the whole entire table is covered with a million piles. And he would be like, and we just push it back and then make the table around that. I do that now. There are times when I'll come out and I'm like, oh my God, all these bills are here that need to be paid, and I need to start my taxes, and oh, there's my planner. I need to start to get that done. And oh, I was supposed to call this. Clear it out. Get out those distractions. Sometimes my phone gets cleared off the table. Unfortunately for me, everything is hooked up through my MacBook, MacBook Pro computer, laptop, whatever. So that way there's sometimes that you have that as well. But it's super important to clear that all off and just realize that a cluttered space is not a place that you're going to excel in. You won't. It's a known fact. So because you're going to see all the things that you need to do. I'm the same way about a dirty workspace, because I'm like, oh, I need to clean this, I need to clean that, I need to That's why I like my pillows knived in the morning, because I want to walk into a space that feels like I can go into my creative zone, and it feels like I can show up and work because I'm not making a laundry list of all the things that I need to do. So I need to focus on that one thing at a time, not have all the tabs open, not get all into each of those different tabs and each of those distractions. I actually allot time to go on Instagram. That's another big thing. How do you build your social media following? How do you build a podcast platform or whatever platform it is that you're working on, and at the same time, not be distracted by it? You have to choose when you're going on there, when you're being present within the social media. And I know, and I've heard it because I've gotten bombarded with my parents. Well, it seems like you're on social media, so how are you so busy? And it's because I'll film stuff in advance and then I filter it through. Most of the stuff during my story is happening in that moment in time, but like you got to filter stuff in and through. And sometimes I'll take the video, and then when I finally have time 3 hours later, then I'll add all the text and everything and add it to my story. Then I'll add all the hashtags and minimize them and slide them off the screen or whatever. So even within that, you have to take a break from it. It's the same thing when you walk into an audition room and you're like, I have to get this job, I have to get this job, and you're desperate for it. You can read it. So it's the same thing with your social media. If you're trying to grow and build your social media, if you're constantly on it, you're constantly trying, anything you're going to do, anything you're going to create is going to reflect that. So that's something that I learned too. It's like, if I don't want to do my face for the day, if I don't want to dress up for the day, if I just want to wear my glasses and not care and just speak about whatever, then that's what I'm going to do, because that's the most authentic version of myself, and that's why people that's what people respond to. At least my personal following responds to that. And just recognizing what that is. And one other big, massive thing I say that seems to be this constant wheel that we come back to here and there is just knowing when to start saying no. Especially when we have all these different things we're doing, we have to realize, as Adina said, what is serving us and what is taking away. And as Danielle said about, I think Rachel Hollis said it, and like filling up your own vase and letting it trickle down onto others. And like I said, with How Full Is Your Bucket and that book, it's all constantly coming back to that, which is why we need to prioritize that self-care, which is why that needs to be in your planner. 10 minutes a day. Give me 10 minutes a day. I'm telling you, you can find it. If not, you can also find it on my newsletter, because I do a 10 to 12 minute stretch meditation motivation. And another thing that I'm super excited is, I wanted to ask you this. So I'm going to ask you this on here. I'm going to ask you it on social media. Do you feel like you have the 10 minutes, but it's not to be able to sit still? Would you benefit from a walking meditation? So if you pop in your headphones and you're on your walk with your dog, or you don't have a car like I do and you're walking to and from to go to different places, you're on the subway, for my friends who are still in Manhattan or in London, or any place that has public transportation, truly. But do you feel you would benefit from some type of walking meditation? Because I know I would, and I'm really excited to start diving in and creating some type of bonus track for everyone to be able to listen to. That's this like 10-minute weekly meditation that you can grab and go on the go. And otherwise, if you don't have 10 minutes, my favorite thing that I've been telling everyone lately, do it. You can do it at work on your 10-minute break. You can do it at your home. You can do it in the morning when you wake up, and you can do it right before you go to bed, is elevate your legs in the air, lean them against a wall or not. One hand on your heart, one on your belly, turn on a meditation, or just simply have Alexa turn on some spa music or meditation music, or Siri to do that. And now Amazon Music is playing the station spa, because she hears me say that all the time, and that's what I put on for my dog. And just let yourself relax into that music, quiet, calm things down, but you have to put that into plan. It needs to be in that planner, because it is so important. And I know the days, I can feel it on the days when I don't do it. I can feel it on the days when I need it the most. And I needed it during the dance competition. And when we had those breaks, if everyone left the stage, I stayed there and put on my headphones and elevated my legs and did my own thing. Or I went and walked around the building and got some sunshine on my face, because that's what I needed. So knowing when we can use that and realizing that we have to put that in our planner, it's essential. It is essential. Self-care is essential. Talking about mental health, it's essential. And if this is really speaking to you, and this is the first time you've been on the podcast, I'm so glad that you're here. I hope you tap into a couple other, I almost said routines, now I'm still in the dance world. I hope you tap into a couple other episodes and see if they speak to you. If they really do, hit that subscribe button, and also give me a 5-star rating and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Share with us why you love it. Share with us things that you're looking forward to hearing about, or ones that you don't feel like I've touched base on yet that you would like to hear more of. And just enjoy your weekend. On Sundays, if that's a great day for you, that's a great day for me. Grab that planner, grab that Google Calendar, or whatever whatever calendar serves you, and type away. Get that week planned out, because I'm telling you, this weight will be lifted. You won't feel like you're letting people down in all the different realms that you're trying to be 100% in. It's really hard to be 100% in 7 different things. It really is. But in order to show up, to respect other people's time, and to have that self-care for yourself, we have to see this planning and self-care as a priority and a non-negotiable 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. Have an amazing weekend. Hopefully you got the newsletter today. If not, again, remember to join that newsletter. Wonderful, easy. You get a quote of the week, a unique word. You get to see all the things that you may have missed on the podcast. And you also get that 10 to 12 minute free meditation stretch that I put on there each week. I love you all. Truly, this is such a treat to come on here each week and talk about the luxury of self-care.